Well, the controversy continues. Interestingly, the CBN has said that this matter of cryptocurrency, it's not the first time we are putting out word about it. Federal government has put a word out since 2017, reiterated the same thing in 2018, and now it would seem like, all of that notice being put out by the federal government through the CBN was just falling on, do we say deaf ears?
Well, I mean, judging by the trend, really, it was inevitable. There are hundreds of cryptocurrencies. Yes, people talk about Bitcoin, but there are hundreds of them. In fact, a lot of them. And if you look at their market capitalization, runs into trillions of dollars. Wow. So it's not just a Nigerian thing. It's like you have access to Twitter. Okay, I mean, it's going on out there. So if you choose not to in Nigeria, it doesn't mean Twitter will stop. Yeah, so exactly. It was only inevitable that Nigerians, a lot of young Nigerians, I should say, because for a lot of old people, they're wondering, what is this cryptocurrency?
That they don't understand.
Is it
it's
physical money, but clearly it isn't.
It's not to say that they don't understand it altogether.
But now, with the ban in quote, a lot of people are more interested now because they're wondering, okay, what is this cryptocurrency thing that has been banned?
And so many issues about that. What are the pros? What are the cons? Yeah. Do the pros outweigh the cons? The president has been talking about illicit financial flows for years, and they say that cryptocurrency is one of the ways. So many things in this mix. But let's begin that conversation in Abuja with Mokwe.
Indeed, gentlemen, I do have with me in the studio two very gentlemen this morning. Dr. Onoha Nachi is a financial economist, investment advisor, and energy expert. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nigerians.
And we also have with us Mr. Adamu Garba, who is the CEO of IPI Group and also a former presidential aspirant on the platform of the APC. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much, Mape.
Well, gentlemen, I don't know if you have seen the statements as released by the Central Bank of Nigeria, because now there are about two statements. There's the initial one released by the CBN, and then it seems they had to release another clarification as to where they stand. It's 5-page long. I don't know if you have seen, if you've had the... Okay, yes, you can see the statement there for the benefit of our viewers wondering what we're talking about this morning. And you can see the letter to all deposit money banks, non-bank financial institutions, and other financial institutions. And it seemed like it was pretty clear in terms of what it was saying, because right now there is a dispute as to whether there's been a ban or a restriction. And it says here, further to earlier regulatory directives on the subject, the bank hereby wishes to remind regulated institutions that dealing in cryptocurrencies or facilitating payments for cryptocurrency exchanges is prohibited. When you saw that particular statement, that initial statement, what did you make of it? Did you think it was a ban, or did you think it was just a restriction? Let's start with you, Mr. Onoha.
Okay. For me, it was clearly a ban, and I think CBN has goofed one more time again. I think they don't really have an understanding of what cryptocurrency is all about, despite that the APC bank, the regulators of the bank. Because if you do, your approach would have been different. If you look at that document that you just referenced, it talked about prohibition, and it's also talking about sanctioning commercial banks. And it went further to throw that emphasis that if commercial bank, let's assume I have my money in a commercial bank, and I want to trade in cryptocurrency, that commercial bank should restrain me from removing my money to do such trading or such an investment. But having said that, it is good for Nigerians to understand what cryptocurrencies and the transactions that goes around it is all about. If you understand cryptocurrency, there are 4 different levels of players that you can participate. You can participate as a trader, you can participate as an exchange house, you can participate as an investor, and you can participate as a miner. And these are the 4 different levels, and I will explain all of them a little bit. If you are running as an exchange house, you create a platform where anybody that wants to do business in cryptocurrency comes to you to make an exchange. That means they give you the naira, you give them any of the coins of their interest. And that is the only thing you do as an exchange. And that particular part...
Very much like a bureau de change.
A bureau de change. You give them your naira, they give you any of the coins you want. And if you're running as a trader, these are people that monitor the market every minute, every hour of the day. The market can go up today, it can fall back in the morning like this. So they take their risks. They determine when to buy, when to sell. And they exchange their currencies in that way. A young person will be in that business. In the morning, he has just $1,000. And the value of that can give him anything he wants to buy. And he buys it. Later in the evening, that same 1,000 has increased to $8,500. In terms of value, he sells. He has made $500, and he can cash out that $500 and keep his 1,000 in the market. And that earnings goes into our local market because it's going to feed from there like that. So we begin to understand what this actions is all about. And then you have the investors in the transaction. These people put in their money for a long time. Okay, I believe in this market and I can trust it. It's my risk. It's my personal risk. And they put in the money maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And after that, they will withdraw their money, check the margin they have made. And if I pick one of the cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and their margins are published on a daily basis and on a monthly basis. And so if you are an investor, you have an investment chart to watch and monitor how your investment is going. And this is what investors does. And even if you have made a long-term investment for 6 months or 1 year, you also have the options of terminating any day of your choice. And that keeps you safe. In case you're not comfortable with the volatility of the market, you can terminate. And there are a group of miners which also operate in the market. These are technologically advanced individuals. If you're not, you cannot be a miner. Because you need to understand how the blockchains work, because blockchain is an advanced form of a database, which are linked together financially and that. So these miners make money in every 4 years. That's why you see cryptocurrency every 4 years, there is a hype. Because the miners come to prove how secure it is, how ethically compliant it is, and other. And for proving it, they detect all the backhoes. So there's this balance and checks that takes place. And so these are the four group of people that participate in this market. And federal government, through CBN, coming to make such statement. I read a 5-page document they released yesterday, and they reference countries that have that. Countries are putting regulations and not banning. And I could take them to China, and I could take them to Canada. What they did is, for you to run an exchange, where you put your nairas and you get the coins that you want, you must register with the central bank for you to run an exchange. And for every trading that takes place, it must be reported. You don't just wake up because you're lazy and you can't do your work and you just make a flat statement. That is absurd. It's an abuse of office and abuse of authority. And very soon they will still go back and revise themselves. We have an economy that is collapsing. We have an economy where our value for naira has gone too bad to understand. And these things that happen are also as a result of the CBN making these policies that doesn't work. Let me just make this last point. In about 5 years and few months ago, the same CBN came up with the regulations that international remitters must be paid in naira. And you know that contributes to our dollar values in the market, and you came up with such regulation. What did that do? It made our value of currency to go down. Just last month, January this year, they revised themselves. How do we go there? When we have paid the price, what price again are you expecting us? What pain do you want to put on us before you understand the realities facing us? I think.
Well, you have listed, how cryptocurrencies work, and I think that for those who understand the currency market, some of the steps that you have, or the levels that you have enumerated there are not strange to them, because the same thing operates even for regular currencies. In the forex market, for instance, the miners level, though I don't know about that, but I know about an exchange. We know about trading in the currency and things of the sort, and even investing in it. However, they have also listed the dark sides to this particular to these transactions that happen in Bitcoin. And you must accept that for every advantage, there will also be a disadvantage. Don't you share their concerns when it comes to disadvantages? I'll come to you shortly, Mr. Gadaba. No. But don't you share their concerns with disadvantage?
I really don't, though, because
funding terrorism, the fact that a lot of the things happen anonymously.
You are to advise me. I'm to take the final decisions. If you feel like you want to track funding terrorism, you know other means of tracking it. It is not just by giving a flat decision. It's like having a full Ghana must go that have documents and only one page of document there is fraud, and you say go and burn the entire document. That's the decision they have taken. It's a case of being lazy to sort those documents and sort out what is bad. People that trade or people that invest, the money are already in the bank. You have other mechanisms you put in place to check how they earn their money. If you don't trust how I earn my money, you can freeze my accounts. But not when I have earned my money through my hard work, which you can trace. If you don't trust, do that work. Don't be lazy about it. Do the work if you don't trust it. So those aspects of saying foreign terrorism, first and foremost, we should know why people are doing this. And find out why people have chosen cryptocurrency all over the world.
Let me find out, before this comes to marketing cryptocurrency program, let me find out from Mr. Garaba whether or not he also sees it how you see it. In terms of, first and foremost, did you think that this was a ban or, as the CBN has clarified, a restriction?
This is not a ban. I think it is just, as he rightly said, understanding cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies runs on blockchain technology. When something is running on blockchain, it means that it is self-regulating, self-replicating within millions and millions of servers worldwide. There is no single body that will ever regulate that kind of transaction. What CBN said is this: we will not allow any person that is not within the window of regulation to participate in the transaction. Especially, he mentioned about traders, he mentioned about exchange house. These are the kind of people that collect money from others and claiming to be investing in cryptocurrency. Only God knows what may happen tomorrow when there are problems, because those guys are not within the window of view. We cannot accept it. But the truth of the matter is that cryptocurrency is the largest currency black market in the world. Nobody knows what is happening there. Who determined the 21 million Bitcoins that are produced in the entire lifetime of Bitcoin? No one can say that. We have Bank of International Settlement. We have European Central Bank. We have Bank of Japan. We have Federal Reserve. You know, all those banking systems have not endorsed, especially Bank of England, which says recently that it's trying to consider. None of them endorse this cryptocurrency. And suddenly in Nigeria, we have jumped into it. And in fact, in some cases, even stressing our own financial system, offsetting the financial arrangement. You can see Nigeria, I think, is about second or the third most traded Bitcoin in the world with $566 million US. And most of these monies were just put there without any factor of production. It's just consumption. I have an uncle who can give me $50,000. I just plug it and I'm just sitting down watching seasonal movies and I'm making money. Is that how we want to run a third world country that is even crawling, where we need dollar per production? So what CBN did is this: stop. We don't trust you because we have experience with MMM. We have experience with Binomo. People will carry their monies and give them in exchange for so many things. I know a particular exchange house here in Abuja that will tell you to bring 5 million naira in 2 weeks, you harvest 10 million naira, and people are jumping to do these kind of things in the name of trading it on Bitcoin. And we also have cases, if you remove the economic consideration, you go into national security consideration. You have cases of how our terrorists and bandits that are destroying the country keep sustaining their operations. We have issues on where do they get their weapons channel from. We know that nobody knows how this transaction goes behind the scene. The only thing you do is at the end of the day, you harvest something you didn't even work for. So how can we run a country where we do not have a system to monitor those people that are doing this transaction? He rightly said that they outrightly ban without putting regulation in place. And naturally, the steps to regulation is put a ban first, then allow those people to come forward. Then you can now be able to regulate them properly, especially in a kind of transaction window that the whole world does not accept. Who is Nigeria to say is accepting this kind of business, kind of currency, when the whole world, the main international financial systems, does not agree with them? So that's exactly what happened. And I actually believe that it's not a ban. If you look at the statement, it is very clear. CBN just reclarified statement they did in 2017 and 2018, and then try to come clean and tell people that you can do your cryptocurrency if you want. If you can do everything, but if you want to trade, go to Ghana, go to any other country, but don't come to Nigeria to try to do that. And if you continue to do that, the financial institutions continue to participate in the process of this transaction, then they are supposed to be sanctioned, which I think it is very, very important. At least it's put strains in the movement of money that are not within the window of regulation. If you look at, as you rightly say, Chinese, what CBN also stated, they say that China also includes some regulations or ban. There is a principles that you must, as a third world economy, make sure that you put all your economic activities in a cage. Make the cage larger so that if the bird is flying within the cage, you can still be able to see the bird while it's still within the cage. You don't allow it to fly from the outside. I don't know who am I putting money to. I don't know where the servers are. And we know that if you look at the spikes in cryptocurrency, it's talking about it's completely speculative currency. Tomorrow it will sink because we are just in a bubble. It may burst anytime. People are putting their own life savings. The consequences of busting in that kind of settings could reverberate into the economy and then cause a lot of problems for the country. So the best solution is until we have a very strong regulatory framework to track down these exchanges and traders, I don't think it is important for Nigerian financial system to participate in this kind of conduit or black transaction.
Do you agree with him? His explanation sounds pretty lucid. And it sounds like, no, just a moment, it sounds like a real serious threat. I mean, he talks about the fact that the CBN, what they do basically is regulate. That is their key function. Where you cannot see something that you're going to regulate, shouldn't you raise big question marks as to whether or not you want it in your system or you want it out of your system?
Okay. I was glad they referenced various countries that have put one or two things into place. They didn't tell us whether they ban any. No country has banned cryptocurrency trading, no investment. No country in the world. We stand to be the first one. Two.
They haven't banned it.
Let's get what banned.
Exactly.
Let's explain.
That's what we have to define.
We have to get that clear. Where you restrain me from taking my money from my personal account to do what I wish to do, I have earned it. And you ask the commercial banks to report and close the account. I don't know there's any other way of saying what ban is. If I cannot take my money to do such a transaction.
Yeah, but I mean, there's actually a limit on what you can do with your money, no matter how hard-earned it is. You cannot do things that are illegal, things that are criminal in nature. I'm just trying to make a point here about the fact that, yes, it is your money, but you can't say you're trading in cocaine, for instance, or you're buying heroin. That is clearly prohibited in the Nigerian economy, no matter how much money that is going to give you personally. I'm not likening this to, Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies to cocaine and heroin. I'm just simply saying that there's a limit to what you can do with your money, no matter how hard-earned it is. Isn't that correct?
It is absolutely not correct. Because if I walk into the bank and withdraw my money, you don't ask me what I'm doing with my money.
Exactly.
That's the point. So if I'm...
But if the bank knows what you're going to use it for...
If they feel challenged, this is my point. Coming up with this statement is absurd. You are going to make the same Nigerians to start either they are trading or investing from the nearest country, which you have already caused by some of your policies on foreign currency transfers. Over 1 million Nigerians has been forced to operate accounts in Ghana and operating digital accounts, and they are running their business and doing all their international payment without that. This is what you are causing to the economy. And if you go along with this, where I cannot take my money to make an investment, it's an investment. It's my choice. Let me liken CBN with SEC, because they are both regulators of the market. This regulate capital market. There have been several Ponzi schemes across the countries, coming up and dying up. SEC will come out with a statement warning Nigerians that this is not approved by SEC. We are not authorizing it. If you choose to do it, you're your own. If you choose to do it. If CBN give us such statement, which was what was contained in their January 12, 2017 statement, They made that statement that if you choose to go into it, you're your own and this. People have invested in stock market, in bank shares, which collapsed. That was an investment. You took your choice, you took your chances, you made your investment, and you bought shares in companies within the country. And I can remember those days when we bought shares in Zenith, they were about 32 naira. Today, what's the value of the shares? 4 naira? I can remember those days we bought shares in other institutions that have collapsed. So why will you restrain this? And it is good that we pay attention to where this is leading to. I'm not talking about it because of the people, but we should look at it from the general effect on the economy. You don't come up with a statement that is not in line with global perception or international best practice. The banks he has mentioned, Bank of England and Coast, they exist. You watch their statements, what they are doing. You cannot be an outlaw to it. But what I'm saying is, clearly, CBN, I want market to be regulated because I operate in the regulated markets. I want market to be regulated. CBN can come up with a policy. You know what? For you to run a crypto exchange house, we need you to register with us. We need you to report monthly on your volumes, what you do and what you don't do. And there must be a documentation, your KYC must show to us. That is better off. And okay, if I'm trading and I'm using, and it's good to make this thing clear to my colleague who is here. In cryptocurrency, you cannot trade with other people. The way you operate, when you open up your account, your private key is given to you as a person. And you are warned never to share that private key. Because whoever you share that private key is more like a Swiss account. It can operate that account. So you are warned to do that. So it is limited to individuals when it comes to investments. But these other ones, yes, CBN can request for them to align proper, but not saying me as an individual, I want to make an investment that I choose. People invested in media houses. Yeah, people bought shares there. Stuff happened. People bought shares in different places. Market keep collapsing, market keep rising. Bubble burst is a natural thing in markets.
Are you not scared, though? I mean, that we're going to be losing. Yes, I mean, as you rightly pointed out in the course of this program, there are pros and there are cons to everything. We're not going to be losing the pros as well. We're looking for investment inflows, and some people believe that this is some way of having investment inflows into the country. Don't you think that we lose out completely with this sort of policy?
I think we're losing more, by participating in this transaction. You look at $566 million of consumption. And most of these monies, if you allow local traders to participate, I can give Naira. The same trader can use the small dollar that we have to be able to power our local production, buy it and then plug it in Bitcoin. And then there it flies away. So the money is going away from the country more. We are losing a whole lot of forex than bringing in forex into it. To the best of my knowledge, what CBN did was the best that can happen in this situation. We have to be not too idealist when we are trying to look at this kind of financial system or generally economy. We have to look at our reality. We are just an economy that has so many potentials, yet most of these potentials are not even harnessed locally. The little dollar we have to import what we need is now being wasted to the best of my knowledge, for pure greed. I want to just put money and then suddenly I just make money for doing nothing.
Everybody wants to.
What is investment?
Everybody wants to make money.
No, what is investment? You get to a point where your money works for you and no longer your time working for you. That's investment.
No. I understand. I'm not trying to say, I'm a capitalist. I'm not trying to say that we cannot do that. But what I'm trying to say in essence is that you cannot have $566 million of trade value without any production in your local economy. You see, one of the problems we are facing in Nigeria today is over-financialization of the system. Even the whole world is suffering from this over-financialization. You have about $140 trillion of GDP, yet you have about $256 trillion of debt. Nearly half of the money is in the debt market. If you come back to Nigeria, we keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and printing money to inflate our way out of the problem. It has nothing to do with failed government. In fact, our debt to GDP ratio is really very healthy.
It's failing completely by the same system.
I'm coming. Can I talk? I think CBN is one of the finest organizations we have in Nigeria.
Not this CBN.
No. I'm coming. This CBN has one of the most trained, most professionally organized staff that I know of. I have been operating in an enterprise industry. I am an IT expert. As I can tell you, here in Nigeria, we don't have any organization that runs a stable and standard even structure with proper accountability, the CBN. And my interaction with most of them have been very professional. And the action they've taken regarding this was very, very proactive to prevent Nigerians from getting into the problem of MMM. We know what happened. So we cannot allow this kind of things to be happening. We cannot also allow over-financialization of the system where we have so many things like now, if I can talk about the herdsmen and farmers crisis.
You know, I'll let you talk about it, you know, and
financialization of the system. It's a process where...
I'll let you talk about it when we come back from this break. We need to take a moment now. Please stay with us. Dr. Onoha Nachi, a financial economist, investment advisor, and energy expert, and Mr. Adamu Garba, who is the CEO of IPI Group and former presidential aspirant on the platform of the APC, are still with us in the studio. We're discussing this matter of CBN's is a restriction or ban, depending on how you look at it, on cryptocurrencies or on DMBs, deposit money banks, who are making passageway to same for cryptocurrencies in Nigeria. And they have both very different stances on the matter, which we're still, you know, trying to delve into. Kayode from Lagos has a question for you.
Thank you very much, Mark. I mean, listen to this, quite interesting. If you go on social media, you'll even find out that, I mean, the vista is just amazing. And you can let us know what you think at Sunrise Daily Now. But Dr. Nachi, a lot of people understand how this works, but there are so many other people who don't quite get a hang of this. And the CBN raised some issues. I'd like you to address this one. So in trying to draw similarities, you've talked about investments, going to the stock exchange, for example, to buy stocks, investing in companies and all that. So for the stock exchange, for example, we know these companies. For example, you know, companies that manufacture cement, for example, you can invest in them. Companies like banks and all that, FMCG companies, you know these companies and you can invest in them, as it were. But for cryptocurrency, are there companies, entities that ultimately these funds are invested in, or like Mr. Garba said, or is this just largely speculative? So help us understand that area. What is the foundation, really, of cryptocurrency when it comes to business, that is?
Okay. Thank you for that question. The point to get clarified is, first and foremost, cryptocurrency trading and investment is not allowed on a corporate entity. It's an individual thing. You as an individual decide whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. So it is not a corporate entity. So it's not like where we have in the capital market where there are fund managers that are licensed who collect funds from investors and they'll be the one to trade on that. But in cryptocurrency, it is very, very individualistic. It is your opinion, it is your choice. You study the market and you do the necessary follow-up to it. So they don't really fall in the same category, because in the capital market, what you do is you have people that are licensed, like I said, as fund managers, people that are licensed for dealership and all that, and other different licenses. And these people will be the one to do this transaction on behalf of a group of individuals, either through a collective investment scheme and other possible schemes that do exist, using every kind of instrument that are available. But in this one, it is clear and it is obvious that it is individualistic. You make your choice, you log in, and you go through the process yourself. You establish your account, you establish and you buy your coin and deposit it in your wallet, and you start trading on it by yourself. So the both of them don't. But at this point, I think it's good to understand, on a personal opinion, real personal opinion, there is a collaboration between the CBN, precisely the CBN governor, and the commercial bank against Nigerian economy. And that is a very great matters to look into. These two bodies have come together to work against Nigerian economy, to work against Nigerians, and that is true. And I make the statement and I stand by it. The only reason that the CBN, through the governor, has made this statement is because of the way people are putting the money into those trading is affecting the commercial bank's balance sheet. And they want that to stop. They don't want that balance sheet to be depleted. So it is the commercial bank that even approached the CBN to, can you give us these regulations? And these things has to be looked into. Because if it's not affecting their balance sheet, think about it. I have 100 million naira in UBA, and I'm pulling that by 100 million. It has an effect on UBA balance sheet. And the only way to stop that is to make CBN, give them a power to stop me from pulling out that money to using it what I want to use it. But let's get the side effect, which I mentioned earlier on. They cannot stop it because they will only succeed in helping the nearby country economy because this money will go there. They have already done it when they placed restriction on transfers and all that. And I mentioned it clearly that...
Well, Dr. Nachi, I just wanted to...
EcoBank is growing wider every day.
Right. I mean, right, as you said, some believe this is inevitable anyway, but I just wanted to be clear on the foundation of this. I mean, are you investing eventually in a company that, provides service or value and employs people, and then you get, value on your investment or dividends? I just wanted to get that clear because that has been a major issue. But let me take this to Mr. Garba. He might want to respond to some things you said, and also to this tweet, which he tweeted or he put out, I think, last week, talking about countercurrency, and that got a lot of people talking. And I'm just wondering, is that a type of cryptocurrency you are planning to introduce, or you literally mean investing in cows, because it sounds like cow to currency? So if you could just clear that in line with, as well as your response to some of the things Dr. Nachi said.
Yes, I will start by saying that I don't think CBN and maybe the central bank governor is connivance against Nigerians. I think one of the finest CBN governors that has ever been produced since the inception of our democracy is Godwin Emefiele, and he has been doing his best, especially in the area of real assets of the country, particularly agriculture, where much of the jobs is being produced in this country. If you look at our economy, about 56% is service economy, which cannot be able to accommodate so much people. We need to enable the production sector, and so far CBN has been doing a wonderful job in terms of enabling agricultural practices in Nigeria. And if this even fell to the point you raised about cow to currency is indirectly trying to tell people, to orient them about the need for us to invest in what is real than what is virtual. If you look at this country today, we have several security issues around herdsmen and farmers that are being treated as insurrections or a problem, but these present a very huge economic opportunity. Beef industry, for God's sake, is about $2 trillion industry. Like, if you check countries like Brazil, they export to the tune of $5.4 billion annually of beef. That is like almost 25% of the Nigerian budget. And again, if you look, the same Brazil even made a commitment to make sure that per individual in their own country, they have at least one cow. Now they have about 211 million people with 211 million cows. US is one of the largest exporter of beef. In fact, one company in the United States that processes beef sells up to $50 billion annually of this beef processing. Yet United States that we are seeing is also a counter-currency country. Why? Because United States makes produce about 89 million cows, selling about 12.5 tons of beef meat every year. So when you look at all those things, there are huge economic opportunity. When you take a cow, for instance, in Nigeria, we produce maybe 7.5 million. That's what we kill. That's what we eat in our houses. How much do we export? So this is the problem. Instead of us to pay attention to the complete economic value chain of cattle, like from the feed they eat to the meat in their body, to the tummy cells, to the fats they produce, to the horns, to the bones, to everything around cattle, including the dungs, is an economic value.
Okay,
Yet we are wasting it at the point of normal ethnic and at the normal ordinary politics of ethnics and politics of section.
Well,
These
Mr.
are very
Garba,
serious problems.
Absolutely.
I'm coming. Cow business, I'm coming. Cow business is not exclusive business for the Fulanis. We need to understand that. Brazil is not a Fulani country. US is not a Fulani country. India is not a Fulani country. Everybody can do ranching. A Yoruba man, an Igbo man, a Isekiri man, an Ijao man, a Tiv man, a Bachama man can do ranching. If some of us, the Fulanis, refuse to do ranching, then you can also do it and make very big amount of money that is associated with that. So
okay,
that
good point that you have made, Mr. Garba.
Yes. We can move to cryptocurrency.
Well, I was actually afraid that you were going to come up and say, look, this cryptocurrency thing is maybe we're going to convert cows into some cryptocurrency, but thankfully that's not what you're saying. But let me ask you this, and I believe that Dr. Naji. Yes, I get it, because I mean, historically, even in reports have it out there that this whole ranching thing is not strange to us since between the 40s, 50s, and 60s. These are not things that are strange to us, and it wasn't, as you have said, it's not something limited to just one ethnic group. All ethnic groups have been able to do this before. I hope that this that you are raising will help us to get back into that conversation. But there is something in that comment that the first notice that the CBN put out, and which we showed you earlier. But the part that I would like you to respond to is where it says that accordingly, all DMBs, MBFIs, and OFIs are directed to identify persons and or entities transacting in or operating cryptocurrency exchanges within their systems and ensure that such accounts are closed immediately. Two issues are raised right there. Number one, do you see a what happens to those the money or the resources in those accounts? And number two, do you see litigations coming?
I think the first thing that we need to understand is that these so-called traders or exchange houses within the crypto market, the ones that are, let me say, the hybrid crypto traders or marketers, where the interface between the real person who works out and brings his money and also a virtual environment where you don't track. What I think is these guys are not first and foremost regulated. They are not within the window of regulation. They just collect people's assets and claim to invest it in Bitcoin. And nobody can predict what might be the outcome of that Bitcoin. If you look at the World Economic Forum statement from the Bank of England, the governor of Bank of England made it very clear that the speculation in cryptocurrency, it gives a cause of worry. There is no way you can accept that kind of business. As business, one time you have $43,000 and another time you have $28,000 within the window of 2 weeks. What kind of business is this? So what CBN did is, first and foremost, identify and shut down the window that will enable like kind of pseudo Ponzi scheme in the name of crypto trading. You can't be collecting money. This is money. Money is one of the very strong regulator of our economy, every economy in the world. So you can't allow money to just flow without some window of visibility. Now, these transactions are happening completely conduit. I can tell you that we can even speculate and say that most of these kidnappers that are kidnapping people in northwestern part of Nigeria, when they collect huge amount of deposit in cash in Naira, they ended up depositing it in Bitcoin. We can speculate that. We can speculate and say that most of the monies or most of the stealings that Boko Haram is doing, they invest the monies in Bitcoin. We can speculate that. But how can you report that? You don't. So close this account. You who goes and invest there, you have responsibility to pay them back. We have some organizations I saw in Nigeria like Luno, like Binance, all these exchange houses issuing press statements saying that everybody's investment is safe, that they are going to return that money. They have, if they are ethically regulated, they have moral responsibility to return back investors' money or to seek investors' consent to reinvest somewhere. But there should be no any legal issue that may come here simply because there is no law that is broken. These guys are operating with huge amount of money. In some instances, even politicians are taking millions of dollars out of this country through money laundering via this channel of cryptocurrency, through these exchange houses. Somebody will just go and collect huge amount of money and then come and invest in cryptocurrency, and there he is in Dubai harvesting it. So these are serious economic problems that we have to look at it, that is stealing our job away, stealing our livelihood away, spoiling our road, not giving us the right electricity, not giving us the right education, not investing in our healthcare system.
I don't know
all going outside this country.
I don't know
so we should not agree with that.
I don't know if Mr. Ano I will agree with you, but we have seen in the last couple of, let's say, months and weeks now, the central bank trying to ensure that people invest in the real economy. They have scrapped interest rates for savings accounts. Treasury rates on treasury bills are almost next to nothing. Maybe the only thing you can invest in right now, if you're looking at just putting your money in financial instruments, might be bonds. And maybe if you want to go to the
bonds are not even lucrative.
Yeah, exactly. They're not lucrative anymore,
TB
at
is
least,
1%.
as they used to be. So a lot of the things that they have been doing in recent times is to force money to the real sector, to get people to invest on the ground so as to create jobs. Is this really out of place, especially when you look at the fact that this seems to be providing an alternative for people to do much, to earn so much without, breaking sweats?
The breaking sweat. First and foremost, I think there's a level of ignorance being exhibited in trying to explain this. The investment in cryptocurrency is personal. There's no corporate entity, and I'll ask them to go and verify that is registered as an investor in cryptocurrency. That's good. They could carry out their technology investigation about that. They'll come out clean about that. So nobody should begin to proud and make those statements. They collect people's money. No. You are not allowed. It's an individual. I can only put my own money. And I can only register with my name and not with any of this.
Yeah, so but you can collect money from people.
That being said, the problem we have with this current central bank is they're working against the people and against the Nigerian economy. The wrong thing that we've ever committed
I don't
is...
think...
Before you say that, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Let me quickly answer my question. You are not actually answering my question.
I mean, that's where I'm heading to.
Yeah, so you have to quickly do that.
You have a central bank who has refused to operate as a central bank. The function of a central bank is to maintain the interest rate, exchange rate, GDPs, and co. And you're not focusing on that. You want to start operating like a commercial bank because you have a governor who is from the commercial bank, who has been from that commercial bank. Let me give you
Sorry to interrupt you. You're not dealing with the issue. The issue right here is that we are losing money in the real sector.
No.
How do we get people to put money in the real sector?
The CBN has failed to empower institutions. What has happened about Bank of Agriculture? When does CBN turn to Bank of Agriculture? There is Bank of Agriculture fully established. But the connivance between CBN and commercial banks has made it impossible for Bank of Agriculture to function, which is a real sector, which is real sector to operate on. What has happened to...
There's Bank of Industry. They're doing...
No, what has happened to mortgage reverse...
we even have NIRSAL.
Mortgage reverse institution. What has happened to that? These are real sectors. But you are busy. Anybody that needs agricultural fund today, you are meant to approach commercial bank and operate on the commercial bank loan conditions. Because of that, why can't we fund... If we're talking about a real sector, we have a failed system. It's a wrong decision to get a commercial bank MD to become a CBN governor. And this is the implications of what we deal with. It's a wrong decision to get a non-economics to head a central bank. These are the implications they will suffer from.
Well, I don't know that this conversation can go on for another 1 hour because the CBN has also raised pertinent question. The fact that no one has criticized...
your colleague asked about legal matters.
Has criticized money today as it stands. People are saying, why not invest in dollar? Why not invest in the pound sterling? Why not? There are huge questions around crypto. Why crypto, so to speak? But gentlemen,
it provides global stability.
We do not have the time that we really need to dig further and see what danger this could actually pose to our real economy. But we have to thank both of you for sharing your thoughts this morning on the matter. Dr. Ono Hanachi is a financial economist, investment advisor, and an energy expert. And we're also joined by Mr. Adamu Garba, who is the CEO of IPI Group and former presidential aspirant on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Well, that's it for this segment. Sunrise Daily continues in a moment. Please stay with us.